Well, I'm back. Happy Earth Day. I'm Amber
Sorry,
Cagliardi.
that was me, not Amber.
I am a librarian at Middle Country Public Library, and this is actually the third program. And all my projects are always involving gardening and crafting together because those are my two favorite things. So thank you for joining me. If this is your first time seeing me, welcome. If you're back again, thanks for coming back. Today I have two projects for you. We are going to be making seed bombs and seed paper. And I started to research this. I'm fascinated by all the things that you can do with these two projects. So let's get started. So we're going to start with the seed bombs. So seed bombs are super simple. You really just need a few things. So the most important thing to have is air dried clay. So I picked up this air dried clay. I ordered it from Michaels. I did find that the shipping is pretty quick with Michaels, so that was great. So I was able to get this in, but again, this is air dried, so it doesn't need to be baked. So that's good because you certainly wouldn't want to cook your seeds. So you're gonna just take a good handful out like that. And the other materials I'm gonna use are some soil. I have some potting mix here, and I am going to use some seeds. So here I have my air dry clay out here. And what you're gonna do is if you have a rolling pin, you could just go ahead and flatten it out like this. And I have it on a just a cookie sheet here. You could put down some parchment or wax paper if you don't want to get it everywhere and you're going to use it after. This is just a cookie sheet I have that I'm just going to use for crafting. So I don't mind that it's not covered. So you're going to flatten it out like this, like you're making a big cookie. And you're going to go ahead and sprinkle some of your soil, potting mix, whatever you have. You can use potting soil. This is seed starting potting mix. You can use that as well. You don't have to. So really whatever you have, just some sort of organic matter. So put this down. And then you are going to put your seeds in. So when you think about seeds, you really want to pick seeds out that grow here on Long Island. So always be mindful of that. If you visited our seeds library, you know that we have some great seeds in there. So things like coneflowers, cosmos, marigolds, those seeds are great to put in a seed bomb. So you definitely could include those. If you did visit our seed library before you came and you have some of those left, you could put them in a seed bomb. And it's a little too early to plant a lot of those things. So this is a good way to use them. And then as soon as it's a little bit warmer out, end of May, you can go ahead and put, throw your seed bomb somewhere. So if you have some of those seeds and want to do something with them, you can do that. So I have some wildflower seeds here. It's just a mix. This has some of the flowers I just mentioned, Chinese forget-me-nots, poppies, cosmos. So all those things are good to include and will grow here on Long Island. If you are joining me from somewhere else, you would just want to be mindful of what grows where you're from. So sprinkle that in. And then I also have just this shady wildflower mix I have. Has a little bit of fertilizer in it, so I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that in as well. And you certainly don't need to put this in, but I have it, so I'm going to use it. Okay, and this is where you get messy. So you'll see today I have an apron on. Definitely want to put something on that you don't mind getting a little bit dirty. Don't wear your favorite shirt and make seed bombs or seed paper. So I'm folding this in. So you can see I'm just going to go ahead and fold it in. And this is where it gets fun. You're just going to go ahead and mush it all up. It's okay if like a few seeds come out. You could always add them back in after. And you're gonna go ahead and it. Okay. All right. So you can see I have this here. It's not that colorful. I tend to like things that have a nice aesthetic to them, have some color. So what I did is I went outside this morning and I just got some flowers that have already bloomed. They're kind of drooping down. I have some hyacinths that I planted, before Easter. They're kind of done. I picked up some dandelions and just like these little white flowers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add these in. They're really just for color. They serve no other purpose than just some color. They'll decompose with your seed bomb, so they're fine to add, but they're pretty, especially if you're going to give these as gifts or you just like pretty things. Go ahead and add some flowers in. So really you can add anything. You just want to be mindful that if you do pull some flowers that have gone to seed, you could also have those show up in your seed bomb. So just be mindful of that. A hyacinth's a bulb, so that's not going to happen. Okay. And again, I'm just crunching these up. You could even take dried flowers too. I picked these fresh, so they still have some moisture and life to them, but dried flowers would work as well. And again, this is optional, but I think it definitely is a nice thing to do. So you might be asking yourself, well, why a seed bomb? Like, I could just plant seeds in the ground. Like, why do I need to go through all this trouble? So seed bombs can really transform a landscape. So it's kind of very timely. We're practicing social distancing. If you see a field that's just ugly in your neighborhood and you say to yourself, wow, that could really use some flowers, then absolutely what you can do is you can take your seed bomb once it's dry, throw it into a field, and there is a very good chance that, in a month or so that you'll see flowers there. Seed bombs are also very nice to give as gifts. So I mentioned that before. It's too early to plant, but if you just want to give some gifts, do something with your seeds that you have, that's another option for seed bombs. And another question that may come up, and if you have any, go ahead and include them in the chat, is you might say, well, I'm just a little nervous just to throw them. Can I dig a little hole and put my seed bomb in? Yes, absolutely. You can do that too. But again, the thing that's nice is you can just throw these, not go into a field, and you're creating a little safe haven for your seeds. So it's actually giving it a better chance than just throwing seeds. They could last, but having the case around it and giving it a little safe haven is definitely increasing your chances of that seed actually germinating and blooming. Okay, so basically, if you can make meatballs, you can make a seed bomb. So you're just going to take them out, roll them up into whatever size meatballs you usually have. Some people like bigger ones or smaller ones, and that's the same case with the seed bombs. They really can be any size. There's no, there's not a lot of rules when it comes to seed bombs. Now I see a few of my seeds dropped out on my cookie sheet here. I am actually, you probably can't see me do this, but I'm just sticking them in the little balls I'm creating. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and finish these up.
Amber, we have a question from Andrew asking if the clay is biodegradable.
Yeah, it will compost down. Yes. Eventually.
I did check the Crayola website, and it does say it's an earth-based clay. So all of the ingredients are earth-based. So
absolutely. So yeah, this will eventually break down. And of course, just like you would put a regular seed out, what will break that down are the elements in the air, but also it's going to need water. So that will eventually start to break that down. So.
Yeah, from experience, I can tell you I used the clay to make something to hold a plant, an air plant, and then I overwatered it and it fell apart. So
yeah, like if you put this now, before I do anything with these, I'm going to let them dry overnight, and then I'll show you some ideas of what you can do with them. If you just put them right here, it's probably going to last a very, very long time. If you put this outside and you're going to get rain on it, that sort of thing, that's when your seed is going to germinate, and that's when this is going to break down and do its thing that nature does. So good question, Andrew. Okay. So that's it with the seed bombs. It's simple. I see Elizabeth waving to me. So
just bring it closer to the screen just so we could see it.
Absolutely. And I have a surprise here, so I'm not going to show you that yet.
Okay. No, it's nice just to see it close up. Thank you.
Absolutely. And you'll get a closer look at some of the dried ones in a little bit. So those are the seed bombs. So
sorry, Amber, I do have a question on YouTube. I keep interrupting you. I apologize. Fazia is asking, how many seeds can I put in each seed bomb?
Okay, so you can put as many seeds as you like. Seeds are expensive, so you want to be mindful of that. I used 1 packet for these seed bombs here, and that's plenty. I have 10 seed bombs here. So 1 packet per seed bomb. If you have an abundance of seeds, you can go ahead and stick more in. But again, I bought a packet of seed. It was, $2. So I'm not going to stick $6 with the seeds in it. But you could, if you have a lot of them. So again, if you're a seed saver and you have something like marigolds in your yard and they're just everywhere and you have tons of seeds, this is actually a great way to use those up, creating these seed bombs. But if you're purchasing them, you probably aren't going to stick, $20 worth of seeds in a seed bomb. So really, it's up to you. You wouldn't want it to put like a handful, because then of course those seeds want to have room to grow. So just be mindful of that. But really, there's no direct science, exact science to this. It's really up to you. It's not like making a cookie where you need to be very precise. So that's kind of fun. Are there any other questions about the seed bombs before we do the seed paper? Okay, seed paper. So seed paper is a bit of a process, but it's simple and a lot of fun. So you will have to think about making seed paper over a course of 3 days. So the first thing you want to do is, shred some paper. So it's a great way if you have like a lot of bills you're going through, you're doing some spring cleaning, you could take all those, put them in a shredder, or you could take a pair of scissors, cut them all up. Once you do that, you're going to take your paper, put it in a bowl, and fill it with water. So I started this about 24 hours ago, last night or midday. And again, I just filled my whole thing of water and covered all the paper to let it soak. So once you let it soak, you're gonna then put it in a blender. So I have my blender here. Just be mindful that if you have like an older blender that you've kind of retired, that might be best. If you have like a brand new blender, I wouldn't really recommend putting a bunch of paper in it. But I happen to have this old blender when I upgraded to my Ninja. So I had this left over. So you're gonna put all soak and wet paper here. And you're also going to put the water in. Put the top on. And it's gonna have like an oatmeal texture to it. You're gonna need a strainer. And you're going to dump your blender of paper in a strainer, and you're going to try to get as much of the water out as you can. So I'm using my hands, or you can also have a wooden spoon or whatever you have laying around. And this does take a little bit of time. So if you have any questions, this is a great time to ask, because I am going to be doing this for a few minutes.
Amber, is there any type of paper you shouldn't use?
I have been trying this out for a few days. Anything you print like on a laser printer and it has like a texture to it, I probably would opt not to use that. I do find I had some packing paper that I had come in a box. That was really nice because it held well. So I'm going to show you some paper that's done, but it's very fragile, so it breaks. So I found like a thicker paper holds it well. So if you have a combination of like a little bit of a thicker paper with like some bills and stuff you shred, you will you'll get some tea paper that you can work with a little bit, especially if you're going to try to make it into a gift like I'm going to show you later. You'd want something a little bit stronger. If you're just going to put them in your backyard and you're just holding your seeds until summer when it's ideal to plant these, then it really doesn't matter because you're just going to stick those into the ground. But definitely a combination of paper, I felt from my experience, works best. Okay. All right. So this is, I got a lot of the water out. And then the next thing you're gonna need is some kind of screen. I did make this. So if you have like an old window screen left over, perfect, especially if it was a small window that's manageable, that's wonderful to use. I had a large door screen that I cut up and put on this frame. So I had a frame where the glass broke. It was just sitting in my basement. So I went ahead and took the screen, hot glued it to the back, and it made a perfect little device for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and move over here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to put it over this screen. And I'm going to spread it out with my hands. And I'm still getting all the water off. So you can see I had a perfectly sized storage container. So I use that over this. And I'm just taking my hands and getting all the water out. Okay. And then what you can do is you can take some wax paper or parchment paper, put it over it, and you can, if you have a rolling pin, you can start to flatten your paper out right in this step here. And this will also continue to get your water out. Okay, I would recommend just letting it strain for a little bit. I have some towels here, so you'll want to have some kitchen towels. You can see I'm using my old Halloween kitchen towel, which I certainly don't need out right now. And I'm going to then move my screen to a towel, and I am going to put it over on my chair to dry. So this one I started earlier, so it's a little bit drier. And now you can really see why I have an apron on. The seed paper is a lot messier than the seed bomb. So definitely a bit of a messy project, but a lot of fun. So, okay. All right, so this is dryer. And it's really, really pretty. So I used some brown paper, but then I had some scrapbook paper left over with some nice colors in it. So you can see here, it just has like a really nice color. So be very pretty. I'm gonna flatten this out a little bit more with my rolling pin. And again, it's good. So this I started, I think, about an hour before the program today. So it still needs to dry overnight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it, the top, with now a St. Patrick's Day towel. So I'm going to cover it, and I'm going to put it by my heater overnight. So once it's dry and it's not too wet, you can go ahead and put your seeds on. Again, you don't want to put your seeds on when it's soaking wet because your seeds will start to germinate, and that's not what we're going for. So once it's dry, I would say about 6 hours, you can go ahead and sprinkle these on the top. And if you find that they're not sticking well, you can just use a spray bottle and mist them just so they stick. But again, you don't want to have them start germinated. So if you put too much water on, it would be problematic. But again, now I just sprinkled some wildflower seeds on the top. So the same idea. You want to use native seeds that are going to grow here on Long Island. For the seed paper, you just want to be mindful that you don't have like a larger seed, like a sunflower seed. It would just be too big for seed paper. It would just stick out. It wouldn't stick to the paper. So it does have to be a smaller seed, like a coneflower, a Cosmo, those sort of seeds that are a little bit smaller. Even a marigold is kind of long for the seed paper, depending on the look that you're going for. So just be mindful of the seeds that you purchase.
We did have a question. Somebody's asking if you can dry them in the sun, the paper in the sun.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's a great idea. It's windy today. So if you put your paper out side today, it may blow away on you. So that would be my only thought of maybe not doing it. And if you put the seeds on top of it as well and it was almost dry, your seeds could blow away. So just take that into consideration. Like today would probably not be a good day because it's very windy out there. I was out there earlier today. But I have a little, you can't see behind me, but I have a little stove. So I'm going to go ahead and put my seeds there and let them dry. Okay. Okay. So next I'm going to show you some seed paper that is dry already. Okay. You can see here, this is nice and dry. It's really thick, so I can move it around. I can do a lot with it. Again, this is the seed paper I made from the packing paper that's a little bit thicker. So I also put some dried flowers on it. So you can see I have some dandelion leaves. So it gave it some pretty colors and you can see the seed. So once it's dry, you can do more with it. I am going to attempt to cut out a leaf with you today. So you can then take the paper and cut it into whatever shape you desire. Now I am being mindful not to cut a seed in half if I can see it, because obviously it wouldn't grow then, but they're pretty easy to see in the paper. So here I just cut out what I feel looks like a leaf. And then you could take some other pieces and maybe do circles, or you're really good with the scissors, you could try something a little bit crazier. I'll do a heart as well. Oh, okay. That came out good. Okay, you can see I have a little heart, very cute, and my leaf. And then you can do some other things with that. If you're trying to make gifts, you could use your nicer pieces to give to people. And then if you have just some leftover, go ahead and plant this in your yard. So that'll be fine. So here you can see I made some things already. So what I did with this one is I made a bookmark. So I just took it, I cut it out into a strip of a good size bookmark, and I poked a hole in it. And then I added some string, and I think it's really cute. I also made these, I can see in like little party favors or even a gift tag. So I used my Cricut machine. I used this image of a flower, and I went ahead and cut that out, and then I used double-sided tape and I taped this on so it can be easily removed for whoever gets this. For this one, I just, you can be as creative as you want. I just wrote "Plant Me," and this one is supposed to be a tulip. I don't know if you can see that, but I used a cookie cutter and I cut it out and made this little tulip, and I wrote "Plant Me." So you could write like a special message to somebody you're giving it as a gift. These ones, I added just a little bit of string or ribbon. And this one I felt was like, because it's so sparkly, and I do love sparkle paper, but I just felt like it needed a black ribbon just because it's already so colorful. So those are some fun things that you can do with your seed paper after. Now your seed bombs, you may, if you're going to give these as a gift, you may want to consider like making a little pouch. So I made this little pouch this morning. It's super simple. I just took, I'll show you how I did it. You're still with me, everybody. I took a piece of fabric, I cut it, it's probably about, I didn't measure. Again, this was just very quick. I wanted to make something cute to put my seed bombs in if you're giving them as a gift or just want to store them. So I just took a piece of fabric. This is probably about 8 inches. And then I just took my glue gun and I'm going to go ahead and just glue the bottom here to make a little straight edge. And on this side, I'm going to make another little straight edge. And again, this is just with hot glue. So
We have a couple of comments from YouTube.
okay.
Deborah says she has used colored construction paper in the past to make decorative paper with the dried flowers.
Oh, that's fun.
She asks if the colored construction paper is okay to use for seed paper that will be planted outside.
Yeah, I think it, yeah, I don't see any problem with construction paper. It's going to decompose. If it has a lot of dye in it, That's the only thing I would be slightly concerned with. But if it's, you know, like that's the only thing is like the dye in the construction paper.
And
But
another,
I didn't come across any articles or anything when I was researching this that you could not use that. But that would be my only concern.
and I feel like from the research I've done in these small bits and pieces that you're putting around, it's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I have just, I'm sorry, we're blowing up on YouTube. Kim just wanted to let you know that she's watching with her daughter and they're going to make some Mother's Day gifts from this.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then another person on YouTube, Lori, is asking if you know anything about making paper from dryer lint.
I do not, but I'd be happy to research it.
Yeah.
I did come across a few things when I was researching it. I think you could definitely do it, but I haven't tried it myself. But I can't see why not. It's a great way to recycle. You know, I think it would be thin. So I would guess you would have to mix it with like, again, like a thicker paper so it sticks together. When I did this and I only used just regular paper that I had, I found the paper to be very brittle and would kind of fall apart. So that's when I started for my like next rounds of seeds, I did add like a thicker paper that sticks together a little bit better. So you just kind of got to play around with the balance of it and try to figure that out. I did try to add some cornstarch to it to see if it would help it like adhere, but that didn't really work either. So the best thing that I found was like just like a mix in a thicker paper with like, you know, like your bills and some of those things. So that was how I was successful. But definitely if you're trying this and you want to share tips,
And
let
we
us
got
know.
a tip on YouTube. Deborah says she has mixed dryer lint in when making the paper.
Oh, great.
It's not all dryer lint, but if that's one of the things that you mix in.
Yeah, that would have been my guess as well to do that. Okay, so here's my little pouch. Look how quickly I made that. That's so cute. So what I'm going to do is now I have 2 little pouches and I'm going to put my seed bombs in here. So I'm going to put 4 in each. And I am going to take this blue ribbon because that'll look nice with my fabric. Okay. And then I am going to I know someone said they were going to make a Mother's Day gift out of these. Well, this is a great way too. If you have some fabric left over, you can make these little pouches using hot glue or whatever glue you have. And that would be so cute to give to someone with your little seed bombs. You can do a tag and write a message. You can, you know, write it here. You could even give instructions on how to do this. So you just want to let people know what it is, because not everyone knows what a seed bomb is. So you can let them know they can throw it into a field or put it in their house, but it would be cute to give. They don't stay up. And again, these would be really great for I think like a bridal shower or a baby shower. You could really do a lot, like Grow With Me, or you know, you can really make anything with the Cricut machine for a backdrop to your seed paper. So if you give this a try, definitely share with us. We are using the hashtag MCPL at home. So any photo you post on Facebook or Instagram, you can use that hashtag and we'll see it. So definitely share. And I think I see another question popping up. So no? Okay, good. Good. Okay, well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make seed bombs and seed paper. Happy Earth Day, everyone. And I will hopefully see you soon. Thank you.